Involved in the Public Policy Committee in the West Pasco Chamber. We meet the second Wednesday of every month at Bob Evans. It's a beautiful breakfast, 8 a.m. Come on down. By a show of hands as you're coming in, have any of you seen the progress that's happening on 19? Show of hands. It is looking fantastic. The Public Policy Committee meeting we are very involved in that. Greg Armstrong, are you here? Greg, I know he's around. If you want to participate in that, Greg Armstrong is the man to see. We are hot and heavy with that. That being said, we are getting ready for the debates as you're settling in. This is for District 1, County Commissioner, which is essentially on the east side of the county. A reminder, as a Pasco County voter, we vote for all districts on the County Commission. Very important. The format is a coin flip to determine that the first speaker, in this case it'll be Ronald Oakley, and he will also be the first on the ending. Questions will alternate. Our moderators are Steve Sherdell, Managing Partner of Hits 106, the Chairman of the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce, and Queen Chasco, Tina Shelton. The timers tonight are Nora George and Cynthia Armstrong. The way the questions will work, you have 2 minutes for a response. At the green light, you get one, that gives you 1 minute when you see the green light. 30 seconds is the yellow light. Red light, it's over. And then if you get the bell, it's really over. You will have a 1 minute rebuttal, that I believe is on. 1 minute rebuttal and then a 1 minute response and a 30-second rebuttal. Questions are asked by, Steve will ask a question and then Tina will respond with 2 questions. Please fill out questions out front. You can put those in the basket for the candidates. We ask that you turn off all cell phones. Thank you all very much for being here.
Understanding is that Mr. Ron Oakley will open with his 3-minute statement.
Thank you. I'd like to say tonight that I appreciate y'all having us here. My name is Ron Oakley. I'm a native of Pasco County, born and raised in Dade City, Florida. I graduated from Pasco High School. I went from there to Carson Newman College, where I graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting, and came back to work in Pasco County with my father and my brother in the citrus business. I have spent over 50 years of experience in business right here in Pasco County. I have worked in the cemetery business, funeral home business, citrus business, gift fruit shipping business, trucking business, of which my brother and I have run over 480 trucks hauling liquid food products all over the United States. I have been very fortunate in my career. I have been with my own company, Oakley Groves, and never been paid by any other company, even though I worked in different businesses here in the county. So I was very fortunate in that fact. I went to college, like I say, and then came back and spent this time in the citrus, and then I've been with that company all this time for over 50 years. Again, I have been very fortunate. I've been fortunate to be with you as a public service to you, because I am the past chairman of SwiftMud, and I am representing each and every one of them. And that's what I stand for. That's what I want to do, is work for you. I spent a lot of time researching all the issues that come out before us in the county level for SwiftMud, and I never vote on anything without researching it. I have gone through many different issues with flooding is one of our issues. Roads are one of our issues. The issues that we have with our roads throughout the county, and with flooding, and with the development and growth we have now, there's a lot of issues before the county commission that are very important to us and important to me. So I want to promise you that I will never vote on anything that I wouldn't research and look out for your interests before I made that vote. Thank you.
All right, the first question this evening is for, I'm sorry, very sorry.
Who's the other guy? Good evening. I'd like to begin by thanking the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce for putting on this event. I appreciate very much the energy and the concern that you have to actually put this on. I'd also like to thank the audience that's here today and those that are watching on the live feed. It's heartwarming to see civic or citizens that actually care about the issues and are willing to come up and listen to the candidates speak about them. My name is Commander Delgado, United States Coast Guard, retired. I'd like to welcome all the veterans that are sitting in here. After a 22-year career in the United States Coast Guard that saw me do everything from counter-narcotics operations, anti-piracy issues, force protection, anti-terrorism, I chose Pasco County 2.5 years ago as a home. Having been to all 50 states and checked off the ones I didn't want to wind up in, I was very fortunate to find this. I've operated as far east as Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar. I've gone as far west as Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and all points in between. I can say that it's very, very nice to be home finally. Played college football at the University of Memphis. I achieved my bachelor's degree in political science, and during my Coast Guard career, I also graduated from the U.S. Naval War College, having completed my studies in strategic studies, and I know that sounds a bit repetitive, and national defense policy making. While only 2% of Coast Guard officers ever achieved command, I was blessed enough and fortunate enough to achieve 3 of them. I commanded a unit out of Virginia that did counter-narcotics operations in the Caribbean, and then we would go to Iraq and Bosnia enforcing UN sanctions against those countries when the UN imposed sanctions to them. Second command was in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, commanding a port security unit that was charged with the waterborne security for the naval base down there once we stood up the prison. And then the payoff that was being able to train, stand up, and command MSST New York, which was a congressionally mandated anti-terrorism SWAT team in New York City. I commissioned that unit 2 years after the attack and spent 3 years there before heading back overseas to train overseas countries how to do the same things. Elections are about contrast. It's my hope that we're able to illustrate some of the contrast today and get to the bottom of why we're both running. And I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for your time. Delgado.
All right, my apologies, Mr. Delgado, for almost overriding your opening statement.
I've been through much worse.
All right, very good. The first question for Ron Oakley. Ron, you're a representative of District 1, but in reality you have to work with other commissioners to represent all of Pasco County on the issues that face all of us countywide. What do you think it is about you that gives you the ability to have the understanding of the problems and also the ability to care about constituents outside of your home base and your home district?
Thank you for that question. I have, like I say, been past chairman of SwiftMud, and of late, some of the main issues we've had in West Pasco, where is not my district, and it's people that have had flood issues. And I have spent 3 to 4 weeks during the flooding over here in this area researching all I could about the flood issues with the people here in West Pasco. The reason I was over here looking at those flood issues is so when a commissioner that is in this area, and there's 3 of them that line up on the west side of Pasco, if they have issues with flooding and they need help, and because it takes 3 commissioners to get anything done, I had to know that I would come over here and research all those issues, those flood problems, and I mean there are many flood problems. Some cannot be taken care of, but I can tell you there's several that can be taken care of, and we can make sure that they get taken care of and are going to be handled in the near future. But I take it upon myself to know their issues, so when they bring something before the commission, I can honestly tell you that I know what they're talking about. I know that they need those dollars spent, especially in the flooding areas, and I know we can get those items taken care of. I know for a fact there are some areas on stormwater we've already looked at that are going to be taken care of this next year. Moog Road happens to be one of those, and that's on the agenda for stormwater for most of their money they have to spend for this 2017. Thank you.
Mr. Delgado, you have a minute to respond.
During the 22 years that I was in service, I worked amongst the interagency. I worked at the federal level with state officials, with local officials. I've heard my opponent on several occasions indicate that if he was elected, he'd be one of 5 commissioners on the panel. I don't know what that means except possibly an out for not getting stuff done. But the reason I'm running as a non-party affiliate is because I've come to learn that Americans agree on pretty much 95% of everything. We know what's good, we know what's right, we know what needs to get done, and you got about that 5% that we have to negotiate, we have to work through. I've heard my opponent say that one of his first jobs, if seated, is to hire a county administrator, and he has said that we need a county administrator that can get the 5 commissioners to work together. I'm of the opinion the county administrator actually works for the commission and does the daily business. It's about 5 grown-ups, 5 leaders sitting up there in that commission, negotiating, coming to terms, and making things happen for the citizens of Pasco.
Mr. Oakley?
Well, as I said, that I have researched the issues that my fellow commissioners have in their districts. I will spend time with them. I will spend time out here with the citizens. I represent each and every citizen in this county. It doesn't matter whether you're in my district or somebody else's district. I'm going to support you. I'm going to try to do the best I can to give you the best representation that you deserve, and everybody's voice needs to be heard. They do need to be heard when they speak. Thank you.
Okay, this next question is for Mr. Delgado. There are a lot of new homes approved for already crowded Highway 54, 56 corridor, as we all know. Should we build a raised highway to relieve the future traffic congestion?
We are at a 140% build-out population. That's a political term that indicates in order for us to fill the existing homes and the homes that have been approved for build, we have to grow as a community by 141%. We have to grow to 1.1 million people. You bring up one specific issue in the county about 54, and I will get to that answer. Every house we build puts us further behind. Every house we build impacts our roads, not just 54, 52, all of them. It affects our sheriff's department. It affects our fire department. It affects our schools. And at the same time, we're not actually charging the appropriate impact fees upon builders to come in here and make their money and then beat feet when they're finished. I'm not an engineer. Do I think right now that we have to build an elevated platform? I learned a long time ago in a leadership position, you're not always the smartest one in the room. And you surround yourself with great people and you surround yourself with experts. If the engineers are telling us that it's cost effective and it's appropriate for us to build, I don't understand why a county commission would balk at that at all. In addition, I mean, we got taxpayers that are calling for it. It is not their fault. It is the fault of the commission over decades that has put us in this situation. Every day that goes by, it's getting worse. 141% is a pretty scary number, especially when our water is running out in 2030. I'm actually, if seated, going to be calling for a moratorium on home building. Until we take our tax dollars and use them appropriately and fix the infrastructure in this county and take care of the people who live here, we need to slow down, we need to stop. We need to pursue businesses, we need to pursue jobs, but we need to stop on the house building for a little while and have a positive impact not only on the infrastructure but on your property values as well. So if the engineers tell me as a seated commissioner that that is the appropriate plan and the citizens of this county who pay the taxes agree, I'm all for it. Let's build it.
Mr. Oakley, 1 minute.
Well, I can tell you this. I'm from the east side of Pasco, and I'm so disappointed in having 2-lane roads most of the time going east and west across this county that we can hardly move across it. I can put aside the elevated road because I think we need to widen those roads that we already have. And I know for a fact in the next couple of years, there's going to be $320 million spent from the state for Highway 52, 54, and 56 to extend them out to 4 lanes. and reroute actually 52. One part of it's going to become a state road, and one part of it will remain a county road. So I'm for repairing our infrastructure that we have here right now.
30 seconds.
Again, we're falling behind. Every time a nail gets driven, you know, I think the county commission has made the error of believing that if we build homes, we increase our tax base. That may or may not be true, except for the fact that every time you drive a nail, you already spent that money. And your 911 system, your schools, your roads, everything's falling further and further behind. We need to take the three taxes that we pay in this county, our property taxes, our penny for Pasco, and I know we only get half at the county level, and the rest goes to the schools who need it. And we need to fix the infrastructure going on right here. And if it means building that road, let's build the road.
Thank you. This question is for Mr. Oakley. It's a question from the audience. What is your position on homeless veterans in Pasco County?
Homeless veterans in Pasco County need help like many homeless people that we have here in Pasco County. There's different groups that are out doing pretty good work. One of them in East Pasco is Restored Hope. They look out to help different ones to find shelter and homes for them. And they work on the fact that they give them a hand up, not a handout. So they want them to strive to do better. And veterans, they need help in this area. I think there's probably a lot more of them in the western part of our county that need help, and we need to reach out to them and give them all the help that we can. So it's one of those issues that I personally would like to look into more. I have not looked into it that well, but I'm sure that's one of those areas that as you become a county commissioner, there's a lot of areas here that need to be looked into, and it's kind of a learning curve. A lot of issues you know about, but a lot of issues like the veterans and what you can do to help them. But I can guarantee you I'm willing to tackle that issue and work as hard as I can to help them and help each and every one of them in this county to have a better life. Thank you.
Okay, 1 minute.
You know, our veterans see things that the rest of us don't have to see, and they do it so we don't have to see it. Then they come home, and my last count I heard it was about 100 homeless veterans in the county. All homelessness is, in my estimation, embarrassing for this country, but to have people that go off into harm's way come back and then be homeless has to be addressed immediately. Now, that being said, you have to understand that there's some veterans sitting out in the woods right now that do not want to come in. They, for whatever reason, have decided that that's where they want to be at. So we're going to have to take the services to them. We have mental health issues that we have to help them with. We have nutritional issues we have to help them with. And if, as they acclimate, and as they get, you know, I only paused because I didn't want to use the word healthier, but as they get healthier and stronger, we need to keep checking with them to make sure, see if they want to come in. But we can't forget them just because they happen to be living in a tent in the woods somewhere.
Ron, 30 seconds.
Yes, we need to do all we can for veterans and other homeless that we have in this county. And we need to look into those issues and do the best we can for them and protect them and lead them in the right direction to help them get a start here in this county. Thank you.
All right, the next question is for Mr. Delgado. Mr. Delgado, we've made some progress in Pasco County when it comes to being pro-business over the years, but one of the constant complaints that I run into as a media operator is small businesses trying to open up and do business in Pasco County that feel like there's a myriad of mazes they need to go through with the county when it comes to permitting, when it comes to inspections, when it comes to autonomy in the field by inspectors. And we've talked about it for a long time. I believe we've made some headway, but personally I know of 2 or 3 businesses that have said, I will never try to open a business in Pasco again. What do you think we can do as a county commission? Again, we're very good at addressing our problem and talking about our problems, but small business is the lifeblood of West Pasco and of Dade City and of Pasco County. What can we do to help alleviate those problems?
Great question, and I'd say we're good at listening and we're good at kicking the can down the road. The small business is the backbone of all communities and all economies. It doesn't matter if they're hiring 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. Everybody that gets hired is a citizen that we've already taken care of that can actually go take care of themselves, which is a beautiful thing. They're right. This county commission doesn't seem to fully listen. You know, I was at a meeting the other day, and they were talking about an issue, and one of the county commissioners actually made a post on Facebook while a citizen was speaking about it. And it happened to be on sex trafficking, which I found kind of alarming that it wasn't important enough for the person to listen. I don't think this is any different. If our small businesses are telling us that there's too much paperwork to go through, you know, veterans, women, minorities that want to open up a business. Mr. Oakley's a fortunate man. My father and I served for 52 years so that he could have the business that he has, and we celebrate it. We got people trying to do the exact same thing. Overregulation. We even get into discussions about what their signs can look like. Can it flash? Can it not flash? We have to get out of people's way. They are the engine, and we have to get out of the way. And if they're telling us it's not worth it, then we're failing them. We have to make it worth it. It impacts our economy. It impacts people going to work. It impacts crime because people are at work. It impacts drug use because people are at work. We need to stop just hearing it and stop kicking it down the road and actually get it done.
Mr. Oakley, a minute to respond.
Yes, I've said several times that one of the main issues that lay there before the county commission is choosing the right county administrator to come in this business and pick a person that comes from a larger area than we have here, pick a person that has personality and the ability to meet our businesses, whether they be large or developers or large businesses or small businesses, and get friendlier with them, talk to them about their business, welcome them into Pasco County, show them what we can do to actually help them get started, rather than giving them blockades up in front of them and keep them from actually getting in business and getting started. That's one of the main issues that need to be taken care of, and I think that new county administrator will help us get there with the right leadership in Pasco County as in the commission. Thank you.
I'd like everybody to pay particular attention to what the gentleman just said. It was to hire a county administrator that is used to a population of 1 million. We're sitting just under 500,000 now with 141% build out, like I indicated before. The gentleman has told you that he's going to deliver exactly what's been going on around here. We need to start worrying about the citizens that live here and their infrastructure. We need to start taking care of our citizens that want to open businesses here and stop focusing on the million or the other 500,000 that want to move in and start taking care of the folks here, up to and including the business people who don't want overregulation. They want easier permitting. They want to follow the rules, and they want to put their sign up.
All right, thank you. This question is for Mr. Oakley. Mr. Oakley, Pasco County is in dire need of high-paying jobs, skilled jobs, and more industry. Years ago, we started out as a center for citrus, building, retirement, and the service industry. The problem is about 50% of Pasco County's workforce commutes out of county to earn a living, to be employed. What can we do in the future to attract the type of jobs that brings people from outside the county into our county and keeps our county residents working here in Pasco County?
Already in Pasco County, we have a diverse employment or employee base, and especially in the Wesley Chapel area. There's nurses there, there's doctors there, there's tech people. They're working jobs outside of our county. And we're in a process right now of building in new developments, building developments that actually are going to have ground ready, 2 million square feet of space for schools, for manufacturing, for other high-tech areas to build out in our county. Those things are happening, and we have the employees here. But as you get growth, I'm going to tell you this, my opponent wants to talk about a moratorium on building. He wants to stop it and then try to build infrastructure from where? I don't know where you're going to get the money, because I'm going to tell you, If you stop the growth of the houses coming in here, you're going to stop the money that's coming in to build the roads and expand our infrastructure that needs to be expanded. That's the only way this growth is going to happen. And as that growth comes in, we will take care of managing the people that come in, the development, the different manufacturing. Already we have in Bill Cronin with PEDC, one of the best men I've ever noticed that is going to help Pasco County gain business. We've already gained one business, probably 500-600 jobs in that business. There's another one on the way. This man goes out and meets those businesses and welcomes them into Pasco County. That's going to help us in the future. Someone like him as a county administrator that also can meet people out there will be a great improvement than what we've had in the past. So I look forward to working with Bill Cronin in the future, and I look forward to the growth and the businesses coming in, because we're going to have the rooftops and we're going to have the people in those rooftops that can work right here in Pasco County.
Mr. Delgado, a minute to respond.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think the 500 jobs that my opponent alludes to is Toledo, who just came into the county, or is coming into the county and bringing 500 employees with them. There's not a net gain of jobs. That being said, here's a reality. We have 270,000 citizens in this county that are job age. They're not children and they're not retired. And we have 83,000 jobs in the county to accommodate them, which is why they're going to Hillsborough and taking their lunch money with them, and why they're going to Pinellas. Where's the money going to come from? Since I've called for a moratorium or a slowdown on home building, we're going to close the loophole on Greenbelt. We have speculators that come here and buy hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of acres of land. They live on the east coast of Florida. They live in Illinois. They contribute to my opponent. Instead of paying in the ballpark of $350,000, $400,000 a year on these parcels that they have, they're paying $3,500. Where's the money? We're just not collecting it. We're allowing people to put MPUDs on big parcels of land and then say the economy's not good enough for me to build homes right now. I'm going to wait. Give me my ag. That's going to stop. They go back to ag when it gets sold again to somebody who doesn't want to build homes, and then they can go back to the ag. Until then, that's where the money's going to come from.
Mr. Oakley.
Well, I tell you what, the Greenbelt has nothing to do with the amount of taxes that we're going to get on a piece of land. The Greenbelt provides for that farmer that's been there in his entire life and put his entire life in that property to protect him until that property is developed another way. And at that time it is developed another way, it is going to bring in tax dollars to this county. But not just in homes, in businesses and manufacturing that's going to come in there along with those homes. And it's going to provide a great deal for the Pasco County for our tax base and increase it. Thank you.
Thank you. This question is for Mr. Delgado. There is a feeling among people in West Pasco that all the attention is on the 54 corridor, especially in the Wesley Chapel and Land O'Lakes area. What do you see positive for the US 19 corridor, and what additional solutions do you have to recreate its vibrancy?
It's not going to restrict itself to Wesley Chapel. It's going to keep coming out. My opponent recently indicated that he wanted to drop impact fees and make them uniform. They are different around the county because I suspect that the county commissioners wanted to protect some certain lands and make it a little less attractive for build. My opponent's gone on the record and said he doesn't like that. He wants to open it up. 19, I resist to use the word blight, especially since I'm talking about where people live. I think what people mean by it is that it's older. It needs to be refurbished and rehashed. If we get out of small businesses' ways, we certainly have plenty of buildings over there to start putting people into and incentivize them to do it. People move to Pasco County to move to the country, and then in very short order, it's not the country anymore. Wesley Chapel's certainly feeling that pinch right now, which is why I would be calling for a slowdown or a moratorium on the home building. So that we can take care of the infrastructure, up to including the west side, who floods, has road issues, has traffic issues. I'm running for District 1 because that happens to be where I live, but I'm running to be on the county commission for all of Pasco County. Those neighbors of mine that live on the west side are no less important than the ones that live over in Dade City where I happen to be at. if elected, we're going to address your needs and we're going to address them fast.
Ron, 1 minute.
The fact of it is I have kept impact fees. I think they're $4,800 on schools right now, and the impact fees in the Wesley Chapel area where there's a lot of growth is probably at a lower rate than it is out on areas where it's a greater amount, maybe 8,000 in West Chapel and 16,000 in the other. Well, I've done a lot of research on impact fees, and also have not determined my opinion totally yet, but I am open for suggestions, open for support of why we need them as high as we have them and why we need maybe more toward our schools. I actually went to the school board today and asked a question, show me the supportive information that tells me we need more for our schools and more impact fees to raise them for our schools. I'm willing, if they can show me proof of what it's needed for, and it's proof of need. I know we need good schools, and I want to educate our youth as much as possible here in Pasco County.
30 seconds.
You know, actually in 2015, a report came out to the school board indicating they need to double school impact fees. The county and the commission did nothing. The reason that there is a disparity amongst impact fees is because we've taken part of this county and said to the developers, it's all yours, and we don't want to disincentivize you from coming in. So we're going to keep it really low. But it gets worse than that. Even after lowering it to those rates that makes it attractive for them, they still come in and ask for the credit and not do it. So they'll build the homes and accept the cars and accept the students that have to go to school, but not build the schools, not build the roads, not build any infrastructure, just setting us further behind.
Thank you. Okay, our last question for Mr. Oakley. One of the most troublesome issues facing the County Commission is how to fund drainage improvement. Storms the last few years have revealed numerous trouble spots, but solutions have not been forthcoming. What will you advocate?
Repeat that again. I missed a word there.
One of the most troublesome issues facing the County Commission is how to fund drainage improvement. So flooding issues in the county. Storms the last few years have revealed numerous trouble spots, but solutions have not been forthcoming. What will you advocate?
In the flooding issues that we have in Pasco County, we have a assessment that we charge all of our citizens that go into stormwater, because all of us in Pasco County pay a stormwater fee. That fee, I think it amounts to quite a bit of money in a year. I believe their budget was $18 million, if I looked at it just right the other day. The monies need to be looked at based on priority of the issues, and we need to make sure that we prioritize those and take care of those issues as they come up. I know Moog Road is one of those issues that's coming up, and it's going to be taken care of this coming year. Questions I had when I sat in that meeting the other day was they were talking about how much more it costs when we get outside contractors to do that kind of work. I'm not so sure it wouldn't pay us to have hire a crew actually do that work that we could keep for a longer period of time, maybe for the whole year, and doing different projects in the West Pasco where those flooding issues are. I would continuously work at those until we got it under control, and I would look at possibly getting funding from DEP, the state, DOT, every federal agency that's possible that we can look at to give us help on some of those issues.
1 minute.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. You know, my opponent was chairman of SWIFMUD, Southwest Florida Water Management District. If you go to their website, it indicates that one of their many jobs is permitting of homes and permitting of developments while mitigating flooding. It's interesting, at a previous event just a few days ago, my opponent indicated that while chairman of SWIFMUD, he never issued one permit. At some point, we have to ask why. If you have, it's 13 to 16 counties. I'm not real sure. He would be the expert on that one, but I cannot believe that in the years he worked at SWIFMUD, there was never a housing development. They required a permit, they required engineering, they required flood mitigation. We have older neighborhoods that in those days put 6-inch pipe in. Now we come out to the east to Trinity. You come up to our area where we have Lake Javita, and every 8 feet there's a storm drain. They don't flood, and they send it all downrange. I don't care where the money comes from. If it comes from the federal government, terrific. If it comes from the state, terrific. I've been to Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I've been to the third world. This is not Port-au-Prince, Haiti. This is Pasco County, Florida, and our people deserve better than this.
30 seconds, Ron.
My opponent doesn't realize that SWIFMUD doesn't issue building permits for houses. The county does. That's the county's job. SWIFMUD will give water resource permits that allows them to protect the wetlands on those properties that are being developed and look out for also the wildlife that's on those properties too. We don't give out the building permits. We do allow them to build and develop lands, but that's what SWIFMUD does. And it's 16 counties, and they do a great job at what they do, and they have been doing a good job for many years.
All right, well, Mr. Oakley began with his opening statements, and now we go to Mr. Delgado for your 2-minute closing statement, please.
Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for being patient with us. I'll begin my closing by saying I invite you to go to the SWIFMUD website and click on the portion that says what we do. It's just English. I read it, and it indicates that they are involved in the permitting of developments as they go up to mitigate flooding. That's their wording. Forgive the analogy, but I'm a ship driver. Our ship, Pasco County, is headed towards the rocks. And it's headed at the rocks at a pretty good clip of speed, and it's been going on for a while. I'm inviting you to grab the helm back of your county and do course correction so that we can get back into good water. No pun intended. This is a wonderful place. Again, my opponent is a lifelong resident. He's a lucky man. I'm equally fortunate because I actually chose it. I scouted the area, I scouted the country, I scouted the world, and it's very nice to finally be able to call a place home. And actually today, and I don't think it's ever happened to me, I was with my fiance, we're driving down the road, and I said, "Is that Richard?" And she said, "It is." And I said, "Hey, Richard." I've never been able to do that. It's a heartwarming thing. I've served you in uniform for 22 years. My father did it for 30 before me, and I'm asking for your vote so I can continue to serve you. And it's going to be you. It's not going to be the developers. It's not going to be the special interests that see how attractive Pasco County is. They see the dollar signs. I know people in Hillsborough County want to move up here, and we'll welcome them when we're ready. But until we get our infrastructure done, our schools right-sized, Sheriff Naco gets what he needs, our firefighters stay with us. We're spending close to $50,000 to train a firefighter. They stay for a couple of years to get their resume going, and then they go to Hillsborough. And Hillsborough celebrates that because it just saved them a lot of money. But it's costing us in the long run. This is a grassroots effort on my part. I'm Dimitri Delgado. I'm running for County Commissioner District 1 as a non-party affiliate, and I welcome all my Republican, Democrat, and Independent friends to go ahead and cast your vote for your seat.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Oakley, your 2-minute closing statement, please.
Thank you. I've, again, been here my entire life. I'm a native of Pasco County. I've worked over 50 years in business right here in the county, nowhere else. I know what goes on here. I've been referred to as the good old boy. I've referred the fact that I've been here my entire life. I know who to call to get something done. I know how to get it done once I find out what I need to do, and I get it done. And I have proven that fact throughout my life. I've been part of many charitable organizations and seen to it that a lot of monies go back into different organizations, charitable organizations here in East Pasco County and Pasco County. I've worked very hard with my community. I have many friends here in this county, and I've made many friends in running this campaign. And I tell you, there's no one that you could elect in this position that would be doing more for you than I would do for you. I want to be your representative, and I'm going to work hard at being your representative and doing the best job I can for you. I want to use my 50 years of experience to make the right decisions for the people of Pasco County. That's why I'm here. It's not for a job. It's not for earning some kind of salary. It's for doing what's right for the people of Pasco County. I will continue to work for my county and for the people in my county, and I look forward to representing each and every one of you. I would like to, between now and voting time, to always say vote early, vote often. And that way, then November 8th, when you vote me in as your county commissioner, you have made a good choice. I would appreciate your vote at that time on November 8th, and I approve of this message. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you for your participation this evening. Thank you so much.